Hey there, it's Kira Mack and you're listening to the Thai Expat Daily Show. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. So let's jump into today's top stories. 31 arrested for late night partying at Thong Lor club. Police arrested 31 people on Saturday for allegedly participating in a party held in Bangkok's Thong Lor area despite COVID-19 restrictions. At around 1 a.m, the police said they heard music during their night patrol. They decided to trace the origin of the music and found it was from the Black Club, where 31 people, 18 men and 13 women, were partying. All of them were arrested and charged with illegal gathering as it risks spreading the pandemic. The third COVID-19 wave started in April and has continued since then. All bars and other nightclub venues in Bangkok were ordered to close to contain the COVID-19 virus. So this is actually in the area where the third wave originally started, and it seems that they didn't learn their lesson and they're at it again. But it's good to see that there was actually no foreigners involved this time, and it was all Thai people. So let's hopefully see that the same fines are thrown at these Thai people as the foreigners around Thailand have been getting as well. So hopefully we have equal justice, but it's Thailand, so who knows. Lower hopes for Phuket. Government agencies try to manage expectation for the tourism reopening. The Phuket SANDBOX tourism scheme faces a chaotic approval process as the government is still struggling to fine-tune the balance between public health and the economy. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha reasserted that the reopening plan for the island, known as the Phuket SANDBOX, will start on July 1 after it was approved in principle by the CESA on June 4th. However, it still requires confirmation from the Centre for COVID-19 Situation Administration, which scheduled a meeting on June 18th before submission to the Cabinet for final approval on June 22nd. Yuttasak Supasorn, Tourism Authority of Thailand Governor, said the last step is publication in the Royal Gazette, which should be announced in the final week of June to meet the scheme timeline. The CCSA and CESA were established to tackle urgent tasks concerning the spread of COVID-19 and the economic impact in the country. This agenda has already been discussed on several occasions, including meetings with subcommittees of CCSA and Department of Disease Control. Following those discussions, the entry procedure saw a major revamp in recent weeks, such as the extension of the mandatory stay in Phuket from 7 to 14 days, as well as the requirement for now 3 COVID swab tests. Supasong Tejiavat, Managing Director of Asia Hotel Group, said the international market might gradually pick up to 30 to 40% of 2019 levels by the middle of next year, but a total recovery remains far off as long as the government tries to find the right balance between health and the economy. We have to operate the sandbox as if we are starting from zero. Some provinces trying to reopen may find local tourists shy away from their destinations, he said. It might take some time to build up tourism confidence. So this goes back to what I thought would have been the final approval next week, now putting this off for another 2 weeks. So it's a strange way to behave. Tourists need confidence in the government that they're organizing this correctly, and constantly postponing it, pushing it to further and further down the road is not going to help. It's also going to ensure that airlines don't have confidence and might start to pull back on some of these flights that they have planned for July. I've already heard of some Emirates flights being cancelled. So it looks like the airlines are not as confident as the government seem to be. There seems to be a lot of talk, but very little action. And the truth is, if you're having a July 1st reopening, if you're planning to attract tourists, you should have been promoting and had this done and dusted in March or April, not a week before it's meant to happen. Now that brings me to another thing that I have heard today, but I don't know if it's true or not. I saw it reported. It was reported in one of the Thailand English news publications, where it said that this July 1st may be put further down the road to August 1, and that it was said that Phuket is just not ready to reopen yet. Now, I guess, guys, if you're following me over the last few weeks, you know, and the news that I'm bringing you, I think we could all agree that Phuket seems to be not ready to reopen. And it's a great shame. There's people who badly need tourism business, but the government, the provincial authorities, the CDC, all these guys seem to not understand that. And it's really causing foreigners abroad to rethink whether or not they want to come here in the near future, because there is no confidence in what the government is doing. And for me, that's just a big turn-off. And then, of course, they've added in these other stipulations. Now they're looking for 3 COVID tests when you get here. You need one on your arrival. You need one on the 5th day. And if you stay for the 14 days, you need one on the 12th. These are costing a couple, 2, 3, 4,000 baht each. So if you have a family of 4, how much is that going to cost you? I don't understand what the point of the vaccinations are if we're not going to let people who are vaccinated return to somewhat of normality. Because what they're doing is basically what they're doing in Bangkok. In Bangkok, they have quarantine there where you have to stay in your room for 14 days. Now, it's not that much better, except, all right, you're in Phuket, but still this regimented COVID testing and everything. Look, if you have the vaccine, it's time to say, people, you have the vaccine, get on with your life, go enjoy your holiday. But again, as I said before, they're not thinking about this straight. They're completely focused in the wrong directions. People do not, if you come from the UK, for example, and Thailand is being on the amber list, right? This is what you're going to need to have before you arrive, COVID testing wise. 72 hours before you leave, you need a COVID test. You get another one when you arrive in Thailand. Then after your 5th day, you have another one. On the 12th day, you have another one. And then when you go back home, I believe you need 2 more. So that's 4, 5, 7 COVID tests at a couple of £100 a pop. Come on. It's time to get into the reality world, Thailand. Trying to wake up. Wake up to reality. People are going on holidays, they want to enjoy themselves, not have this regimented itinerary of COVID tests on where and where you can't go. And this is the big problem here, is because these guys in charge do not simply understand that. But anyway, I'd love to know what you guys think about this. So leave your comments down below in the comments section, and we'll talk about it down there later. What do you really think this is? If you're the Thai government, can anybody understand what they're doing? Because I don't. Maybe somebody else can help shed some light on that for me. But at least let me know what you think down below. Roadblock for Pattaya reopening plan. The Public Health Ministry is balking at Pattaya's plan to allow vaccinated foreign holidaymakers return in the 4th quarter of the year without the need to quarantine. The seaside town recently proposed what officials dubbed Pattaya Move On, a plan to welcome back tourists in the peak season after giving COVID-19 vaccinations to more than 2/3 of residents and hospitality workers. The scheme would allow fully vaccinated foreign tourists to enter Pattaya without the need to quarantine for 14 days, even though they would have to remain in Bang Lamung and Satip districts for 7 days before being allowed to travel elsewhere. However, Tanis Supanansasri, acting president of the Chonburi Tourism Council, said on Friday the ministry had voiced concerns about the idea. Unlike the resort island of Phuket, Pattaya is more of an open town, and health officials feared it would be difficult to regulate the movement of tourists. He said Pattaya still had to prepare for a full reopening by facilitating a soft reopening during August and September with the sealed route restriction. This would require even fully vaccinated tourists to stay at their hotels for 3 to 5 days, after which they could travel to pre-approved places which have an SHA hygienic standard certification. The tourist chief said the measures would help to ease the health authorities' concerns ahead of the hoped for reopening in October, and was optimistic Pattaya would get more vaccine doses to cover at least 70% of local residents as soon as it had a clear timeline for its reopening. About 900,000 vaccine doses are needed to inoculate 450,000 people, or 70% of the population, he noted. So this is Pattaya hoping to open up. Now, what I find is quite interesting. Actually, the roadmap says that Pattaya would be open on October 1. Again, as I was saying earlier, Tourists are not coming to Thailand to be told they can't go to places and to be controlled and told what they can and can't do. The point of a holiday is to go and relax and chill out. And this is none of it. So for me, this is all nonsense. Again, what do you think? Leave it down in the comments section. But for me, this is a non-starter. Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating. We are available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.